Have you ever stood at the edge of a decision, paralyzed by the sheer weight of the unknown? That moment when your mind races through every possible outcome, yet somehow, the not knowing feels heavier than any potential failure. We've all been there. Whether it's choosing a career path, leaving a relationship, or even deciding to change something small about our daily lives. The truth is, humans crave certainty like oxygen. We want guarantees, maps, promises that if we take the leap, we won't shatter on impact. But life doesn't work that way. It hands us questions and demands we answer them in the dark. This isn't a modern problem. Centuries ago, the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrestled with this same human dilemma. He called anxiety the dizziness of freedom, that terrifying thrill of standing at the cliff's edge, realizing you could jump, but also that you must choose. No one can decide for you. Not your parents, not society, not even logic. And that's the heart of it. Uncertainty isn't a flaw in the system. It's the price of being alive. But here's what Kierkegaard understood. Within that very struggle lies the seed of meaning. The moments that shake us are also the ones that shape us. So how do we move forward when every step feels like a gamble? That's what this journey is about. Not avoiding the unknown, but learning to dance with it, to recognize that the questions themselves might be leading us somewhere deeper than certainty ever could. Think about a time you hesitated before a big decision. What were you really afraid of? The outcome, or the fact that you had the power to choose at all? Søren Kierkegaard wasn't just a philosopher. He was a man who burned with questions. Born in 1813 in Copenhagen, he lived in a world caught between the cold machinery of rationalism and the rigid structures of organized religion. While others were obsessed with systems, rules, and absolute truths, Kierkegaard turned his gaze inward, asking, what does it mean to exist, not as a concept, but as a trembling, breathing, choosing human being? That's why he's called the father of existentialism. He wasn't interested in dry theories. He wanted to dissect the raw, messy stuff of life: faith, despair, anxiety, and the weight of our own freedom. In an era that demanded certainty, Kierkegaard dared to say that some truths can't be proven, only lived. Imagine standing in a quiet church, reciting prayers by rote, while inside, your soul is screaming. Kierkegaard would tell you that real faith isn't about repeating doctrines. It's about the leap, the terrifying, exhilarating moment when you choose to believe even when logic says otherwise. He called this subjective truth. The idea that what matters most isn't some universal fact, but what you stake your life on. Think about the last time you made a decision that defied reason. Maybe love, a creative risk, or walking away from something safe. That's Kierkegaard's realm. His own life was a testament to this. He broke off his engagement to the woman he loved, not out of indifference, but because he believed his inner turmoil made him unfit for marriage. He published books under fake names, each one a different voice wrestling with doubt and passion. He wasn't giving answers. He was showing us how to question. And isn't that what we need today? In a world that sells us quick fixes and 5-step plans, Kierkegaard whispers, the truth isn't out there. It's in the choices that keep you up at night. So tell me, when was the last time you let yourself feel the weight of a decision instead of rushing to resolve it? Kierkegaard described anxiety as the dizziness of freedom, that unsettling rush you feel when you stand at the edge of possibility, realizing the ground beneath you isn't solid, but alive with choices. It's not just fear, it's the vertigo of knowing you must decide and that no one can decide for you. Think of the last time you hesitated before a leap, whether it was speaking up, changing paths, or daring to want something more. That knot in your stomach? Kierkegaard wouldn't call it weakness, he'd say it's the price of being awake to your own life. Anxiety, in his view, isn't a flaw to medicate away or a symptom of brokenness. It's a signal, proof that you're staring into the vastness of what could be. Imagine a bird perched on a branch, sensing the air beneath its wings for the first time. The branch is safe, but the sky is why it has wings. That tension, that's anxiety. And it's not your enemy. It's the friction between who you are and who you might become. Modern psychology echoes this. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Every therapist, every self-help book, every breakthrough moment whispers some version of Kierkegaard's truth. Discomfort is the toll of transformation. So next time anxiety grips you, ask, what is this revealing about what I value? The artist terrified of sharing their work isn't just afraid of judgment. They're alive to the stakes of their own voice. The parent agonizing over a decision for their child isn't paralyzed. They're honoring the weight of their love. Anxiety is the shadow cast by meaning. The question isn't how to escape it, but how to move with it. After all, you only feel dizzy when you're looking at the horizon. So tell me, where is your horizon calling you? And what would it mean to step toward it, even trembling? Kierkegaard saw life as a journey through 3 distinct stages, each one a deeper dive into what it means to truly exist. Most of us, he observed, spend our lives ricocheting between the first 2, never quite daring the leap into the third. The aesthetic stage is where we begin, lost in the pursuit of pleasure, distraction, and immediate gratification. It's not just about hedonism, it's the avoidance of commitment. Think of the person who jumps from job to job, relationship to relationship, always chasing novelty but never depth. Or the way we numb ourselves with endless scrolling, shopping, or busyness. Anything to avoid the quiet question, what is this all for? Kierkegaard warns, this stage feels free, but it's a cage of boredom disguised as excitement. Then comes the ethical stage, the awakening to responsibility. Here we choose to bind ourselves to something beyond fleeting desire, a moral code, a vocation, a loved one. This is the parent who shows up day after day, the artist who commits to their craft even when inspiration fades. But there's a catch. The ethical stage can become its own trap. We mistake duty for meaning, confusing the rules of living with the reason for living. That's where the religious stage shatters everything. Kierkegaard doesn't mean dogma. He means the terrifying, exhilarating surrender to something beyond logic. It's the entrepreneur who bets everything on a vision no one else sees. The scientist who pursues truth despite ridicule. The moment you choose love even when it defies reason. This leap isn't about certainty, it's about faith in your own uncertain yes. Most never take that jump. But here's the secret. You don't leap out of the first 2 stages, you leap through them. Your pleasures and principles become fuel for something higher. So ask yourself, where are you clinging to comfort when you're being called to surrender? What would it look like to stop managing your life and start risking it? Kierkegaard's leap of faith isn't about blind belief. It's about courageous trust in the face of the absurd. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a chasm. Logic tells you there's no bridge, no guarantee of safety on the other side. Yet something deeper than reason whispers, jump. That's the leap. It's not a denial of reality. It's a rebellion against the tyranny of only what can be proven. Kierkegaard used Abraham as his ultimate example. A man asked to sacrifice his son, defying all moral and rational sense. The paradox. True faith demands surrender without the crutch of certainty. This isn't just about religion. It's any moment you choose love when past wounds scream risk, or pursue a dream when the world calls it foolish. The artist staring at a blank canvas, the entrepreneur signing the lease before the funding comes through. They're not ignoring reality. They're choosing a larger reality, one where meaning isn't contingent on guarantees. Modern life worships data, metrics, 5-year plans. But the most alive moments, the ones that shape souls, defy calculation. The leap isn't a one-time event. It's the daily choice to act from conviction, not just convenience. So ask yourself, where are you waiting for permission the universe will never give? What if your next step doesn't need to make sense? It just needs to make you come alive. Real courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the quiet, trembling decision to move forward through it. Kierkegaard understood this intimately. He knew that the most meaningful choices in life don't come with guarantees, roadmaps, or safety nets. They ask only one thing of us: to trust the invisible thread of our own conviction, even when the world demands proof. Think about the moments that redefine a life. The single parent going back to school not knowing how they'll balance it all but certain their child deserves the example. The writer deleting their entire draft because the truth they're chasing won't fit into old words. The addict choosing sobriety one more day, though the voice of relapse whispers forever is too long. These aren't reckless acts. They're revolutions disguised as choices. Kierkegaard's leap of faith isn't about blind optimism. It's about the radical commitment to plant your feet in midair, believing the ground will rise to meet you. Modern culture sells us the myth of the fearlessness, as if brave people don't feel the weight of their choices. But true courage lives in the body of the entrepreneur whose hands shake as they sign the loan papers, the couple saying, "I do," after both carrying divorce scars, the patient walking into chemo with a joke on their lips. They don't know the ending. They only know this: some callings are louder than fear. So ask yourself this: where in your life are you waiting for certainty before you begin? What if the reassurance you crave is just an illusion, and the real security lies in trusting yourself to handle whatever comes? The paradox is this: we think we need guarantees to leap, but it's the leaping that teaches us we never needed them at all. The branch was never what held the bird. It was always the wings. The moment before a leap is always the most paralyzing, when every doubt screams louder than your conviction. But here's what Kierkegaard wants you to know: that very anxiety is proof you're close to something real. Transformation doesn't begin with confidence. It begins when you stop waiting for confidence to arrive. So let's break this down. First, name your fear. Is it leaving the job that pays the bills but drains your soul? Ending the relationship that's comfortable but no longer alive? Starting the project that feels too ambitious to voice aloud? Whatever it is, recognize this: your hesitation isn't weakness. It's the friction between the person you've been and the person you're becoming. Now, redefine uncertainty. We've been taught to see it as failure, a lack of planning or clarity. But what if it's the necessary space for miracles? No parent knows how to raise a child when they first hold that baby. No artist knows how a blank canvas will become a masterpiece. They simply begin. Your leap doesn't require a 10-step plan, just one committed yes. Not, "I'll do it when I'm ready," but "I'll become ready by doing it." This is where meaning is forged. Not in the safety of knowing, but in the act of choosing. So take out a pen. Write down the decision you've been postponing. Then ask, what's the worst that could happen if I try? And more importantly, what's already happening to me by not trying? The regret of unlived lives isn't in the failures, it's in the untested possibilities. You don't need wings to leap. You just need to trust that the act of leaping will grow them. The ground will catch you, not by stopping your fall, but by teaching you how to land. Now, what's your next move? The world is waiting to see what you do with your dizzying, magnificent freedom. You are not alone in this trembling, sacred space between doubt and courage. Every meaningful life has stood exactly where you stand now, heart pounding, palms sweating, staring into the unknown and wondering if they have what it takes. But here's the secret Kierkegaard uncovered. Faith isn't a one-time leap into certainty. It's the daily practice of choosing yourself, your truth, your path, again and again, even when every rational argument says to turn back. Think of the greatest love stories, the most groundbreaking innovations, the moments that changed history. They all shared one thing. They defied the safe, the predictable, the reasonable. The magic happens when we're willing to lose our footing momentarily, rather than lose ourselves forever in the prison of what if. Kierkegaard's words echo across centuries because they speak to the deepest human truth. We are most alive when we dare, not when we succeed, not when we're certain, but when we commit to the jump despite the fear. So as you stand at your own edge today, remember, the universe rewards the brave, not with guarantees, but with something far greater, a life that is unmistakably, unapologetically yours. The comfort zone will always whisper for you to stay. But your soul was made to leap. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is, what miracle might meet you in midair? Don't just exist, don't just ponder, leap, live. The world needs your particular brand of courage. Now, take a deep breath and begin.